Hi, I'm Irrelevant and this is Relevant Topics. Today I want to talk about U.B.I. Essentially, I genuinely think U.B.I. is a trap that it's been laid out for us. For those of you who don't know what U.B.I. is, essentially it means universal basic income, which is essentially that everyone is going to get money. The source, we're not exactly sure. A lot of people are estimating that it's probably going to be the government, although some big people in especially in tech are suggesting that big businesses or people with big businesses should be the one supporting this financially. However, it doesn't really matter where it comes from. I believe that at the end of the day, it's going to be very similar or the same result, which is essentially, I think U.B.I. is going to destroy the economy in a way. U.B.I. is going to make it impossible to hire someone. Therefore, you won't be able to have your own businesses. I mean, I'm sure there are businesses that do not rely on hiring people necessarily, but it certainly is going to make it really hard, or at least impossible, to hire some people. The people who are for the minimum wage people, as they call themselves, the living wage people, are going to say, "Oh, it's fair, because if you can't pay a living wage, then you shouldn't be hiring people," which is nonsense. Obviously, if a lot of people who have studied any economy knows that is nonsense. However, that is part of the consequences that is going to happen because of U.B.I. A lot of people in 2021 are seeing that it's become, at least in the US and Canada and many countries, are implementing the COVID relief fund or whatever, like paying money to people to essentially stay home. And now businesses are finding really, really difficult to find someone to hire. And if you start giving everyone free money for doing absolutely nothing, a lot of people are just going to take it and do nothing and just waste around, just play video games and get high all day long and literally do nothing, which I'm sure for some of you that sounds like an amazing plan. But trust me, in the long run, it won't be for anyone, even for you that might enjoy you're getting high and playing games all day forever. It's not going to happen forever. There's going to be consequences for it. So that's part of it. Like, you won't be able to hire people. You won't be able to, get employed because there's going to be, you might be able to get employed, but you won't be able to hire people. You won't be able to make your own businesses if you rely on other people to work with. And essentially, it's kind of going to destroy the economy because, if you don't understand what I mean by that, it's a longer conversation, and I'll probably delve into it another time, but just suffice that it would probably destroy the economy. There's also automatization in there as well, which is likely coming. Is not certain. I think a lot of the people who are working in AI are exaggerating the capacity of AI, in my humble opinion. I very much could be wrong, but we have seen in the past that people have predicted things that have never come. We will be flying with jetpacks or have a hoverboard by now, but that's not really happening, is it? So there's that. However, certainly AI-enabled automatization is coming our way in one way or another. I don't know what the capacity of the AI is going to be, but it's certainly going to be very high. Much better than what we have got now, even if we do a linear interpolation on the advancement of current technology. And then, a lot of people are going to not have jobs because of that. Based on what happened with the Industrial Revolution, which was mainly a mechanical or physical revolution. This is a more mental kind of... The AI revolution is more of a mental revolution. And based on that, I think we might be able to create economies and find different kind of work that we can do, yes, we might be able to create new jobs that because of automatization that we can't do right now, that we might be able to do if when automatization happens. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Necessarily could be, I don't know. We will have to wait and see for that. However, what will happen with U.B.I. though is that it's certainly going to create a two-tier system. It's going to create a system of the have and have-nots. The people who receive U.B.I. and need it to subsist, and the people who don't, who are the owner of everything essentially. Because once U.B.I. is implemented and everyone accepts it, there's going to be two people who own everything, which are going to be very few people, and then everyone else who don't own anything and need of an entity, whether it be the government or private entities or whatever, to subsist. So this is worrisome for me, because it's essentially it's going to bring back feudalism. It's going to bring back serfdom, and some of us are going to be the serfed, and then we'll have the nobility or the royalty that are going to be on top of us. And if we don't do what they say, if we don't think however they want us to think in those things, then we might not be able to eat, we might not be able to access certain services, etc., essentially turning us into serfs essentially. And the other thing about and this is going to be the last thing about U.B.I. is that we need a purpose in life. I think the reason a lot of people, especially in Western societies and societies that are doing well financially, you do see a lot of depression. And the reason is, in my opinion, is that people lack, a lot of people in these countries, because you have so much, you have got so much wealth and you've got so much leisure time that you don't necessarily have to work for a living. The problem with this is that you don't have a purpose at some point. Not everyone obviously, but some people essentially don't have a purpose. And when you don't have a purpose, you have a very nihilistic view of the world usually, and you become pessimistic and depressed. Therefore, I think you having U.B.I. and being able to play video games and get high all day, every day, forever, it's not going to be good for you mentally, or anyone for that matter. It's not going to be good for humanity to have a big chunk of people which are doing nothing. We need purpose, and to an extent, work gives us purpose. Especially a lot of people who don't have this independent kind of mind that need someone to tell them what to do. Work gives them purpose, and if you don't have that, then, well, welcome to the nihilist world, essentially. Anyway, I don't trust U.B.I. I think you shouldn't either. It's a very problematic proposal. I understand that it sounds good, but it's just like communism. It sounds good in paper. I think in practice it would be a very different thing, and I think the evil and the bad that is going to come out of U.B.I. is going to outweigh any good that it's going to potentially make. That's my take on U.B.I. I really appreciate you listening to me, and thank you. Have a great day. Cheers.